All right, welcome. Today, we're venturing into the fascinating world of abrasive media that's absolutely crucial for surface preparation, cleaning, and finishing. Today, our focus in the blasting world, steel shot. We're going to explore the specific benefits of each, starting with an in-depth look at steel shot. By the end of this, you'll be better equipped to choose the right one to make your next project shine. So, let's kick things off with steel shot, or as it's often known in the industry, cast steel shot. This isn't just any scrap metal, we're talking about a carefully controlled alloy designed for durability and performance. This molten metal is then atomized, a fantastic word, right? It means it's dispersed into incredibly fine droplets. Think of it like a super heavy-duty spray nozzle, but instead of paint, it's spraying liquid fire in the form of tiny steel spheres. These little molten balls are then rapidly quenched, usually in water, which causes them to solidify into their characteristic spherical shape. But the journey doesn't end there. Now, solid steel shot then go through a rigorous hardening and tempering process. This involves carefully controlled heating and cooling cycles. Why all this fuss? Well, this heat treatment is absolutely critical. It's what gives the steel shot its toughness, its resistance to fracture, and its ability to withstand repeated impacts without shattering immediately. It's about creating a media that's not just hard, but also resilient. This meticulous process ensures that each tiny sphere is ready to do its job effectively and for a long, long time, making it a reliable workhorse in the blasting world. Now, one of the standout characteristics of steel shot, and a direct result of that atomization process we just talked about, is its remarkably spherical shape. And this isn't just an aesthetic quality, it's fundamental to how steel shot performs. When it impacts a surface, it does so in a very consistent and predictable way. Think about it. A sphere, no matter how it tumbles or flies, presents the same face to the workpiece. This uniformity is absolutely crucial for applications where you're aiming for a smooth, even surface profile. This consistency is where steel shot truly shines. It creates a dimpled, peened surface that is incredibly regular across the entire blasted area. This predictable texture is ideal for ensuring that subsequent coatings, like paint or powder coating, adhere properly and evenly. If your surface profile is too erratic, with high peaks and deep valleys, your coating might not bond well in certain spots, or you might see inconsistencies in the final finish. So that simple spherical shape translates directly into quality control and a superior end product. It's a beautiful example of how form dictates function, even at the level of tiny abrasive particles. Let's talk about the steel shot. When those little spheres hit the workpiece, they don't so much cut or rip material away aggressively. Instead, due to their rounded shape, they deliver more of a peening or hammering action. Picture thousands of tiny ball-peen hammers striking the surface simultaneously. This is fundamentally different from an angular abrasive, which would act more like a tiny chisel scraping and gouging the material. This peening action makes steel shot inherently less aggressive on the substrate you're working with. This characteristic is a massive advantage when you're dealing with components where you need to clean or prepare the surface without significantly altering its dimensions or integrity. Think about more delicate parts or surfaces where maintaining tight tolerances is critical. Using a highly aggressive abrasive could risk over-profiling, which means removing too much material or creating a surface that's too rough. It could even lead to stress risers or damage to thinner sections. With steel shot, you have a much greater degree of control, reducing the risk of accidentally damaging your precious workpiece. Building directly on that peening action we just discussed, we arrive at one of steel shot's most celebrated applications, shot peening. When steel shot repeatedly impacts a metal surface, those tiny indentations do something remarkable. Each impact creates a small zone of plastic deformation at the surface, and this, in turn, introduces a layer of compressive residual stress. Think of it like preloading the surface to resist tension. It's a bit like how tempered glass is made stronger. You're creating internal stresses that work in your favor. This layer of compressive stress is incredibly beneficial for improving the fatigue life of metal parts. Components subjected to cyclic loading like springs, gears, or engine components are prone to fatigue cracks initiating at the surface. Shot peening makes it much harder for these cracks to start and grow. It also significantly improves resistance to stress corrosion cracking, which is a failure mode that can occur when a material is under tensile stress in a corrosive environment. The uniform impact delivered by the spherical steel shot is absolutely ideal for creating a consistent and effective compressive layer. Now let's talk about something that's always on our minds in the workshop: cost effectiveness. For a wide range of general cleaning and surface preparation tasks, think removing mill scale from new steel, stripping old paint, or just general de-rusting steel shot offers a really compelling balance of efficiency and overall cost. It gets the job done effectively, providing a clean, well-prepared surface without necessarily being the most aggressive or specialized media out there. This makes it a go-to media for fabrication shops, foundries, and general industrial cleaning. A big part of its cost effectiveness comes down to its durability and recyclability. Remember that hardening and tempering process? That makes steel shot tough. This means you can reclaim it, clean it, and reuse it many times. We're talking hundreds, sometimes thousands of cycles, depending on the application and the quality of your reclaim system. This high recyclability leads to significantly lower media consumption over time, which translates directly into cost savings, not just in purchasing new media, but also in waste disposal. Here's another practical benefit that often gets overlooked, but can have a real impact on your operational costs and maintenance schedules. Steel shot tends to cause less wear and tear on your blasting equipment. Think about the components that are in the direct line of fire, the blast wheels in an airless system, or the nozzles and hoses in an air blast system. These parts are constantly being abraded by the very media they're propelling. Now, imagine the difference between firing tiny smooth spheres versus sharp jagged particles at those components. Because steel shot is rounded, its passage through the equipment is generally smoother and less erosive compared to more angular or harder abrasives. This means fewer replacements, less downtime for maintenance, and ultimately lower operating costs. It's a subtle but significant advantage, especially in high-volume blasting operations where equipment uptime is paramount. Finally, let's talk about something that affects not just the workpiece, but the work environment itself: dust generation. Steel shot, due to its inherent toughness and the way it breaks down, produces significantly less dust compared to many other more brittle abrasives like sand or some mineral slags. When those more friable abrasives shatter on impact, they can create a lot of fine particulate matter, which can quickly become an airborne nuisance, reducing visibility and posing respiratory hazards, if not properly managed. It's a big deal for operator health and shop cleanliness. Steel shot, on the other hand, tends to wear down more slowly, gradually becoming smaller spheres rather than fracturing into fine dust. This slow breakdown characteristic contributes to a much cleaner working environment. Less airborne dust means better visibility for the operator, simpler and less frequent cleanup, and reduced load on your dust collection systems. Furthermore, because you're generating less fine waste, the volume of material you need to dispose of is also reduced, which can have environmental and cost benefits. It's another one of those practical, real-world advantages that makes steel shot a preferred media in many situations, especially where environmental and health considerations are a high priority. And there you have it, a pretty thorough exploration of the world of steel shot and what makes it such a versatile and widely used abrasive medium. We've seen how its unique spherical shape, born from that fascinating atomization process, leads to uniform finishes and a gentler peening impact. We've talked about its prowess in shot peening for enhancing material strength, its cost effectiveness for general blasting, due to its incredible recyclability, and the practical benefits of lower equipment wear and reduced dust generation. It's clear that these tiny steel balls are true engineering marvels. Thanks so much for joining us on this deep dive into steel shot, and the best choice for your project truly hinges on the specifics of your application, the material you're working with, the finish you desire, and your operational goals. I hope this has shed some light on the strengths of steel shot and given you some food for thought for your next blasting project. If you found this insightful, please do all the YouTube things. Give us a thumbs up, it really helps the channel. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future explorations, and definitely hit that bell icon to get notified when we drop new content. Until next time, keep building, keep exploring, and keep making cool stuff.